Welcome to the driver's line. I'm Greg.
And I'm Jordan.
And today, we've got a uncool conversation for you.
Yeah, so these are cool. These are cars that, like, you know, to the everyday person might look pretty lame, might be like a basic looking car that no one really would think is anything special, but we think are really actually pretty cool.
That's right. If you actually show up to like a car show or Cars and Coffee or anywhere that auto enthusiasts gather, these cars are going to stand out to them. But if just someone who's, you know, like the man on the street, he's going to say, what is that? That doesn't make any sense. I don't care about that.
Exactly. These are pretty unique things to those in the know. Right?
That's right.
So let's start off with a hatchback of all things, right?
A hatchback. A nice pedestrian little simple hatchback. Yeah. The economy cars in the United States. People see these and they think, you know, you only finished community college. Why are you driving around in a hatchback? You're someone who prizes reliability and prizes efficiency. But no.
Well, as a hatchback owner myself, or a former one, there are some cool ones. And
there's tons of cool ones. But this is what the general population thinks. They have that same sentiment against hatchbacks. And hatchbacks are inherently cool and inherently useful.
Yes.
One that is literally the top of that pile, though, that no one besides a car person is really going to identify, is the Lancia Delta Integrale. Yes.
So, I mean, and this, God, just such a cool car because it's based off something that really is pretty ho-hum, right? The Lancia Delta. But in Europe, rallying is fun. It's popular. And back in the 80s, this was such a fun thing to do. Late 70s into the 80s. Really, up until now, we can take really pedestrian hatchbacks that just look like econo boxes. Let's put a giant engine in it, all-wheel drive, manual, and let's fling this thing around mountain roads.
Exactly. I mean, they had homologation rules, right, that they had to abide by, so they get these cars in the, you know, the rally championships and things of that nature. So that's what Lancia did here. So they're like, hey, we're just going to go ahead, we're going to turn the wick up on this bad boy, and they made something really, really special. But just to look at it, it doesn't look that distinct from the Delta. I mean, it has the exact same shape. You know, for those in the know, they can actually spot some of the key differences in it that kind of show that pumped up little beastly, I've gone to the gym look of the Integrale.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that design actually still is kind of carrying on today. Not necessarily in Lancia's lineup, but
and Hyundai's lineup.
Yeah, true.
The Ioniq, the Ioniq 5. I mean, it really looks like a modern Lancia Delta Integrale,
really
and especially the N. Like, I mean, just again, I love that car for that reason because it reminds me every time I see it of that classic hatchback.
Absolutely, 100%. I was actually going to talk about the Rivian R3.
Oh, that too. Yeah. I mean, that's another one, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that they both kind of
interestingly.
But it is interesting. They really carry that look forward. I mean, it's a useful shape, and that's probably why they're utilizing it because it's just a very useful shape. It's an interesting design, and just a neat package.
Absolutely. Speaking of neat packages, our next one is a hatchback in a way, but actually really more of a wagon. And as we know, wagons are just deathly unpopular here in the United States.
Unpopular.
Because people are idiots.
Yeah.
But anyway, not you guys because you're watching this channel, right? But this particular model was honestly kind of like, let me look at Chrysler PT Cruiser's homework. And I'm just going to copy that one. We're talking, of course, of the Chevy HHR. And in its base form, it was...
it wasn't good.
No.
No, it wasn't good. And this is part of the reason it got that perception, right? Like, so anybody, you know, from the general population who sees one of these are going to be, oh, economy car. You try to, like, jazz it up with some, you know, classical styling, but it's still not a great package. It's cheap inside. You know, it doesn't look great.
Yeah, I mean, it had literally every hard plastic imaginable on the interior. There's not one soft material anywhere, which, you know, Jim at the time will tell you, it's durable.
Yeah, it is durable because, you know what, it still actually looks the same today as it did when it was brand new. Which is still to say it looks as bad today as it did when it was brand new.
But yeah, I mean, a base power plant's only putting out like 140 horsepower, so you're not really going anywhere too quickly. And you know, it's not really anything special, other than, I guess, the design, if you're into that. But there was a version of it, I think, that kicked it up a notch. And there was actually a couple of versions of this.
Yes.
But I think, and Greg probably agrees, the most unique version is the little bread van version of the SS HHR.
Yes, the HHR, you could get it in a panel van,
so
which
cool.
did not have rear windows, except for the very rear window on the hatchback.
Right.
But you could get that in the SS trim with a manual transmission with a 260 horsepower turbocharged 4-cylinder.
They are so cool.
So cool.
So
you
cool.
never see them.
No. And
Never see them because like 11 people bought them.
Yes, and like someone who's, not really familiar with them might be like, well, I guess that's just a PT Cruiser, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
right. It looks like
never know.
a Dowdy PT Cruiser.
Yeah. But like just a powertrain that's in there. It's award winning, shared across multiple cool GM compacts at the time. I will say, but this
Sky
one
Red Line,
is so unique.
the Solstice GXP, the Cobalt SS. I mean, it was in a lot of really interesting cars.
Yeah, and really set the way for forced induction engines at GM for the future. It really made that blueprint. But this is just such a unique version of it. I mean, who makes panel vans out of a compact car? I mean, just the fact I had shaved door handles on the back. There's no door handles, but on the inside there were.
Yeah.
Just in case you need to get out. So the doors are still there if you need to access stuff. But yeah, just such a cool little car.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was a lot of fun. It really
I've been
was.
tempted by one. I'm not gonna lie.
I know. Like if we ever need a
Support vehicle.
Beep up. Off to auto trade. Cool. All right. So the next one on the list kind of cuts from that same cloth, but kind of does it back at the end of the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Because, this is kind of when a lot of automakers started realizing turbo performance. They're like, oh, we can strap on a turbo and boost the engine up and we kind of make something fun.
Right.
But, a lot of times this was done like sporty cars, hatchbacks, things of that nature, things that were kind of fun, right? But the crazy Mopar folks were like, we have a really good minivan. What if we put the turbo engine of the Omni into a minivan? And you know what? Let's do it with a manual transmission.
That's crazy.
People are going to love it.
Yes.
That's exactly what they did. People did not love it, except for the chosen few.
That's right.
The automotive enthusiasts, the handful of people that actually put their money up for this thing and bought it, got a really cool purchase.
Yes.
This was the 1989 Dodge Caravan SE. You could option it with a 2.4 liter turbo and a 5-speed manual transmission.
So cool. And every now and then you'll see one of these come up on like Bring a Trailer.
That's where they go now.
Yeah.
They go on places like Bring a Trailer. So you're scrolling, and you're like, oh, Ferrari Daytona? Okay, cool. Dodge Caravan.
What? It's such a cool car. It's just so unique.
Yeah.
But you would never know it looking at the outside. It looked completely solid.
It just looks like a van. I mean, it really looks like they did nothing to really set it apart. I think it maybe had a slightly different wheel design, but it wasn't anything fancy.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, it was just absolutely nutty.
ridiculous.
I love it. I really love it. I mean, like, kudos to Dodge, for doing that way back when. But unfortunately, they kind of lost their sauce now. But
I know they used to take such risks. I love it. Let's stick with the minivan. I love that you're picking vans.
I know. I'm picking vans now. What has this guy done to me?
Side, I know.
What has this guy done to me?
Our next pick is also a minivan. Also has a manual transmission. Also forced induction. Ooh. Yeah, and we're talking about the Toyota Previa, guys.
So it's even mid-engined.
It is mid-engine, which is going to be my next point. Yeah, I mean, who makes a mid-engine minivan? I mean, that's just so wacky.
You wouldn't think it would be Toyota.
Yeah, what people? So again, looking at it from the outside, nothing has changed. It looks like a regular old Previa that you'd take your kids to school in. And I will admit, this is not necessarily as performance-oriented as say, the SE that we spoke about before. It has forced induction just to get it out of its own way, essentially. But it's still really fun.
Yeah, it's still fun.
Still got a manual.
A manual and a supercharged four-cylinder?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Fun to listen to, because it's going to be right under you, basically.
Yeah.
So.
You'll be sitting right underneath you. You're going to hear that thing whining away. Yep, it's going to be so much fun. Yeah. And it's just a quirky design, too, right? So, like, I mean, you see one of these go down the roads, because you still actually can, because it's a Toyota. Yeah. And they just have a unique shape. They have this interesting presence for a van, right? It looks like nothing else on the road.
Yeah, it has a cult following, honestly. A lot of people are looking for them now. There's a renaissance in that market. So if you have one, definitely hold on to it and take care of it, because there's going to be a buyer for it somewhere.
Oh, absolutely. Undeniably. Yep. All right, rounding out our list is probably one of the most well-known from this group, but needs mentioning nonetheless. So, you know, the Mad Hats at Mercedes and the Skunk Works team were like, oh, well, we make this great people mover. It's called the R-Class. So it kind of looked like a minivan, but it was kind of an SUV. It was sort of in this weird nebulous space, kind of like where the Kia Carnival is now, except it was Mercedes, right? So, you know, nice interior, rear-wheel drive, all of these great things. And they're like at AMG, they're like, what if we took our 6.2 liter V8 we just shoehorn it in?
Yeah, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Get it.
It'll be fine. So that's exactly what they did. They took their big V8, the biggest naturally aspirated one they had at the time, mind you, over 500 horsepower, and they put it in something that looks like a van.
It really did look like a van. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of the styling on this thing, but the performance on it is insane.
Insane. And, you know, with the revision, they improved the styling a little bit, but those R63s are extremely rare in the revised generation. I mean, the original one is very rare, but finding it in the revised version is extremely rare. They barely sold any of them. And these are, again, another thing that you'll find popping on places like Bring a Trailer and Cars and Bids. You know, you're not going to find this down at your local Mercedes dealership because they would love to have them, but they can't get them.
Right. Absolutely.
And so that's how rare and interesting they are. If you show up at Cars and Coffee with one of these, you're going to have a crowd looking at it because it is just that rare and unique. For something that is a people mover that looks like a van,
yeah,
it's going to have a crowd.
I was going to say, you park it at a supermarket and no one will look twice at it. But you bring it to Cars and Coffee, it's going to have a crowd. And that's kind of what embodies this whole list, right? It's just these unique cars that really, to anyone else, wouldn't look nothing special.
Yeah.
So
not at all.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? What ones do we miss? Because I'm sure there's some that we missed on this list that you guys were like, hey, this is actually a car that's really cool that people don't think is cool.
Yeah, please drop it in the comments. And thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us on The Driver's Line.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe to make sure you don't miss a thing.